Hi guys, welcome back to Too Cool for Middle School. It is time for May favorites. I love doing favorites videos because they kind of combine everything that I like to talk about on my channel. I've got some teaching stuff, some books, some baby stuff, some food, just a little mix of everything. So the first thing that I wanted to tell you about is something teacher related, and this is a teacher interaction platform, and I love those. I absolutely love interacting with teachers all over the world. That's why I do YouTube. That's why I have Instagram. I'm not as active on like Twitter and Facebook. I need to step up my Twitter game, but I just found this new platform that I could see being really useful. It's called Teacher Connect, and it's just teacher stuff. So sometimes I go on Instagram intending to look at teacher stuff and I end up like buying some new earrings or something like that. Or I go on YouTube to watch some teacher videos and I end up like watching a bunch of makeup tutorials or something. So this is a specific platform just for teachers. And another way that I could see it being useful is for people who are a little bit wary of having like a public social media profile, like an Instagram account or a Twitter account or something, and they just really want to keep like their professional and their personal lives completely separate. This is only for teacher stuff, so nobody else is going to be following you, like not your students' parents or your students or anybody like that. It's just fellow teachers. And on Teachers Connect you can ask questions or you can just do posts, and everything that I've seen so far, I'm like a pretty new member, but everything is really good. It's sort of like a teacher specific Facebook group, but it's kind of like easier to navigate. So what I'm going to do over the summer is answer some questions from my Teacher Connect profile in a lot of my videos, just because over the summer I'm still looking for teacher related topics, and this will kind of keep me going. So if you want to make a profile, and then you can post questions and I'll see them, and I'm just gonna pick one every so often to answer. So I saw a good one today. Where did it go? Oh yeah, this was a good one, and a lot of people seem to relate to this. It says, anyone else noticing a lack of attendance as the end of the year approaches? It's so frustrating since then you have to catch them up on so much in such a small amount of time. How do you guys handle those frustrating days? And I have totally noticed this too. And it's so hard because like for us, there are a lot of days where it's like, oh, this day is a field trip, so they're gonna be out, or like today it's Memorial Day, we don't have school, or there's some kind of an assembly, so we're gonna miss these periods. So when students are absent, it's like, okay, what day can I even have you do this? What day am I even gonna get to talk to you? And I noticed that a lot of my assignments kind of changed toward the end of the year. Like during fourth quarter, I have a novel that I'm doing with one of my classes, and then just like a project that I'm doing with another class, like an interactive notebook thing. So I think it could be wise, like kind of in anticipation of the end of the year and maybe students being out and it's hard to catch them up, like having your assignments designed for that, where they can be done at home. If they miss class, like they've got the resources to just take care of it while they're out. And I know some schools have specific guidelines for, you know, whether or not you're allowed to reject late work or accept late work or whatever. At my school, I think it's more up to the teacher, but I was kind of thinking about next year, like fourth quarter, not accepting late work, because it is so difficult to like round up everybody that is missing something and then update their grades and all of that. Like this is definitely a reality about the end of the year and teaching. My policy is usually you can turn in late work whenever you want, but it's only worth half credit. So I mean that works okay, but it's true, it's just hard to even get kids the work or like explain to them what we did. So if you use Google Classroom or some other like platform for communication like that, that can help a little bit, but it is tough. I would say kind of like design your projects and assignments specifically kind of with that in mind at the end of the year if it's a big problem at your school. Or what else? If you guys have any ideas for that, help us out, because that is a tough thing. I usually talk about clothing items that I got during the month on my favorites videos. I just posted though a summer style haul, so I put a lot of outfits there, but I'll just briefly talk about this kimono. This is from Seiko. I talked about this in my other video, but I just love it. It's like so big and loose and pretty and just vacation-y. Like, doesn't this just feel like vacation? So I've been loving wearing this, and then I thought I would answer a question that I keep getting. Which flats do I like the best so far for teaching? And it is my Rothy's. I have to admit, these are so dang comfortable. And these are made out of recycled water bottles. I don't know what it is about recycled water bottles, but they turn into really comfortable clothes. My most comfortable flats are made out of recycled water bottles, and my most comfortable leggings by Girlfriend Collective are also made out of recycled water bottles. It doesn't seem like a material that would turn into comfortable clothing, but it does for some reason. And these are so comfy, and I have like the navy blue color with a rounded toe. These are pricey. They're a little bit less than Teaks, but I think I would actually recommend these over Teaks. And I have a code down below where you can get $20 off. That's what I did when I ordered these, so that helps a little bit. And I've just been wearing them nonstop. They're really comfortable. I also read a couple of good books this month. My favorite, well, okay, I have like two favorites, but one of them being Crazy Rich Asians by Kevin Kwan. I am so excited for this movie to come out. I can't wait. This book is like a soap opera. There are a ton of characters. There's a ton of drama. I don't typically read a lot of books like this, but this one was so interesting because it's set mostly in Singapore, and most of the characters in the story are these crazy rich Asians from these Singaporean families that just have money and resources and access like we've never even heard of. I mean, it's kind of like the Asian Gossip Girl, but the characters are a little bit older. It's centered around a love story, and I would say that like my least favorite chapters were the ones that like followed the love story, and then my favorite chapters followed like the cousin, Astrid, or even like the mom. It's one of those that kind of goes back in time and you get the perspective of all these different characters, and it's just so interesting. And I learned a lot about like Singaporean culture. It talks so much about food though. Every single time you sit down to read this, you're just like, man, I want to go get some food now. They're constantly eating amazing food, and it's just, it's really funny and so like addicting. Like this is about 500 pages, over 500 pages, but it just keeps you reading because it's just got that like addictive storytelling. And a movie is coming out, I think in August, so I can't wait for the movie. Another book that I read this month, actually like yesterday, this is the book for Dear Evan Hansen, and if you're not familiar with like musical theater lingo, the script is called the book. So this has all of the lines in the play. I'm trying to find a page with no singing. It's difficult. Okay, so like this page just has a bunch of the dialogue, and then the lyrics to the songs are also within that dialogue. So I've never actually just sat and read through the book to a musical theater work before, but it was such a cool experience. I had my phone with me like the whole time, and I would just play the song from YouTube whenever I got to a song. And I know the soundtrack like really well. I've listened to the soundtrack a ton of times, but it makes so much more sense when you get to read through the dialogue that comes in between the songs. And this really makes me wish that I taught a little bit older students. Like if I taught high school, I would so use this book. So if you've never heard of this, it centers around a kid named Evan Hansen and this other boy named Connor Murphy. And this isn't like spoiler or anything, but Connor commits suicide, and through this kind of weird series of events, people think that Evan and Connor were best friends. And Evan is like really awkward, and he has a hard time speaking up, and so when people kind of like start pushing this story, he just sort of goes along with it. Plus he realizes that it helps Connor's family to think that Connor had a friend, because really he was a loner and wasn't friends with anybody. And it's the same with Evan, really. He doesn't really have any friends. So there's tension the whole time because you know that he's living a lie, but this lie is helping people. It's helping him. Eventually, of course, things kind of come crashing down, but the music is beautiful. The songs are incredible, and there are just so many interesting overtones throughout the play. Fake news is a huge theme, kind of like social media activism. There's kind of like a theme of like masculinity, like the pressure on boys to act a certain way. The parents are main characters in this play, so you kind of see things through their eyes and how different it is if you're like a single mom versus like, you know, this rich couple that can afford anything but doesn't know how to reach their son. So it's just fascinating. I would definitely recommend reading it, and if you teach high school, you should do this with your high schoolers. I think it's so interesting. If you just look at the cover, like there's so much here. It doesn't seem like it, but there is. That's kind of a trend through the whole book. So he breaks his arm and he's in this cast, and so he's got this perpetual thumbs up, but it's forced and it's artificial, But that's how Evan Hansen is. He's always acting like everything is okay when it really isn't. So this is definitely one that I would recommend. And just in general now, I want to read more like musical theater books because it's a really cool way to hear a story. This is another book that I like for Jensen. We had an emergency the other day where he kind of projectile vomited all over the car when we were going to church on Easter, so we had to stop at this Walmart and like get new clothes and everything. But anyways, this book was just sitting there and I thought this looked really cool. It's a little look and tell Bible. Okay, and this is always the first thing I check, like if Adam and Eve aren't black, I'm like, I don't know if I want this, but the illustrations were just so cute. I was like, all right, whatever, I'll get this. So what I like about it is that it has little images like mixed in with the words. So like Jensen knows that this is a sun and this is a moon and these are stars. So he can read this along with me. So I can say he created a, and Jensen will say sun and a moon and stars. And so he can just start to like read along with this really early. He's not even 2 and he can already read along with all of this. So I just thought this was like a cool way to start getting him into reading. And I like that the people look really fake. They're kind of like little kawaii people. So I can take that a little bit more. Okay, a food item that I've been loving for a long time, but I just ate the last one last night and I was like, oh, I will save the box. These are so good. These are from Trader Joe's. Brownie crisp coffee ice cream sandwiches. It's coffee ice cream in the middle and then like brownie on the outside. They're pretty small. They're only like this big. So they're perfect for just like a little snack. Like I can hide it from Jensen long enough to eat the whole thing. And they're so good. I just get these at Trader Joe's. I love coffee flavored ice cream. That's like my favorite thing. Plus with brownie, it's just so good. I pretty much get these every time I go there. Another thing that I love this month is this really cool like teacher appreciation festival that the Hindu community puts on around here. It's called Guru Vandana, and if you are invited by one of your students, then you get to go and they do like some games and stuff outside, which is really cool. It's like all the adults and all the kids playing games together. And honestly, like I don't see that happening very often. And then we went inside and they had kind of this whole ceremony. They explained the whole meaning of a guru or a teacher and how important gurus are in Indian culture and Hindu culture. And they did this little ceremony where they like honored us. Like your student comes to you and presents you with a little flower and a gift and like puts the red dot on your forehead. And because they're honoring you so much, like it really makes you want to live up to that honor that they bestow on you, and you want to be that great leader, that amazing teacher that they are telling you that you are. So it's just really cool, and I got to learn a lot about Indian culture. Oh, and then they feed you amazing food at the end. So that was a really fun thing during the month of May. Another thing that I'm not gonna show you, but honestly, so good. MeUndies. Have you heard of MeUndies? I always hear their advertisements on like podcasts and stuff, and I was like, whatever. How good could they really be? One of my friends said that she got them also, so you just like order them online. You can get, I think I got like a 6-pack, and they claim to be the most comfortable undies, and they seriously are. I don't know what it is about them. I don't know how they get them so soft, but they are amazing. So my goal is to like eventually just rotate out everything and just have those, because they're seriously really good. The last book that I wanted to recommend, and I don't have it with my stack, but it's on my Instagram, is a book called Fred Korematsu Speaks Up. And I love the way that it's laid out. It's just so interesting because it has like primary source documents within the pages, and then it also tells his story through poems, and then it also has just illustrations, a little bit like a graphic novel, and it goes into the history behind his case, and it goes into Japanese internment, and it goes into World War II and just everything that was going on in the United States. And I always teach Farewell to Manzanar after state testing to my 6th grade English students, and I think it's also like Asian Pacific Islander Heritage Month, so it definitely fits in really well for that if you're not doing like a whole nother unit like I am. But if you can get a copy of it, I mean, I think adults would learn a ton from it, and then I just put a few pages every couple of days like under the projector, and I show my students either like one of the poems that explains a period of his life, or some of the pictures of him, or some of the primary source documents they have in there. And it's really interesting, and his story is fascinating. And if you don't know, he refused to leave and go to an internment camp when Japanese Americans were rounded up. He moved in with his girlfriend who was white, and he actually got plastic surgery, and he changed his name, and he pretended that he was like Spanish Hawaiian rather than Japanese, but he was eventually found out, and he took his case all the way to the Supreme Court, saying that they shouldn't have arrested him in the first place because there were no grounds to. But his case was struck down by the Supreme Court actually, and they ruled that it was fine to arrest him until many years later, when he actually was honored, and the United States started to take a second look at everything that they had done during World War II to Japanese Americans. So it's a really interesting part of our history, a really important part of our history to understand, and I find that most people don't know very much about it. So I would recommend it to teachers just for their own personal knowledge, or for your classroom to share with your kids. Anyway, I think that's everything that I've got for you this month. We're moving into summer. We only have 2 weeks left. Probably 1 week by the time I put up this video. I'm not even like all that excited about summer. Like I really like the classes I'm teaching this year, and I like my students, and I'm not in a hurry for the year to end. Plus I don't get paid over the summer, so that always makes it really, really stressful. So, you know, just put my videos on like in a loop on your computer while you're doing something else, and then I'll make money off the ads and you can help me out. Just kidding. But if you want to, it's fine. Maybe on like 2 computers or 3, or like and your tablet and your phone, you know, whatever you want to do. Anyway, I need to go back to Trader Joe's and get some more of these ice cream sandwiches. I hope you all are having an amazing day, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.